I said I want to thank you all because you have reminded me yesterday why I have chosen this job. I mean, teaching and scientific research. Well, justement because while doing this job, you can never stop learning. And that was the case yesterday. I learned a lot from you. You allowed me to discover characters, public figures that I did not know before, some scenes, some speeches that I've missed. And honnêtement, I regret having set the midnight as a deadline because I spent, I mean, the half of the night reading your works and watching the speeches you proposed. Sometime, let me say, sometime I have been with Thomas Sankara, the leader de gauche burkinabé, that I got to know through the proposition of Abdurrahman. Then Omar made my appetite to know more about the vision of Paul Kagame. I don't know how I missed the Nizar. I don't know how I missed the speech of Joachim Phoenix, which is a real big, I mean, amazing example of gestures and nonverbal communication. The Joachim, I don't know, Joachim or Joker, we're not sure about who was made in this Oscar speech, but it really deserves to be studied. And it made me really happy to know that you are watching those, you know, this health worldwide crisis. It made me very happy to see that you are looking at it from, I don't know, as an expert in communication, because many of you evocate, I guess, the last speech of Emmanuel Macron about the health crisis in his country, and yeah, I felt really happy to read your works. It was really inspiring, and to know that you have like a very special analysis look. So I have something for you, since I think that I feel that some of your colleagues are, let me say, very interested in leadership communication and analysis speech. And the gift is that book, Talk Like TED, and c'est un ouvrage qui propose 9 public speaking secrets of the world's top minds. Yeah, and this is a book that me myself, I bought it in a very boring stopover, I guess in Charles de Gaulle Airport or Heathrow, I can't remember, but luckily, you know, I'm proposing it because its reading is very light and it's very soft, and it's perfectly fit with this confinement period. So I managed to find it in a EPUB version, and I put it on the, you saw the file, the suggested reading file?
Est-ce que c'est fichier, madame?
Yeah, c'est un fichier, oui, le fichier suggested reading.
Oui, madame.
Yes, madame.
J'ai mis des ouvrages pour vous. Et hier, j'ai mis le format. Voilà, j'ai mis le format EPUB Talk Like TED for this book that talk about how to make inspiring speeches. So this is my gift for you, because you gave me a lot of pleasure with reading your inspiring works.
Thank you so much, madam.
Merci. But we will have the time to come back, sorry, to this work and synthesize it. I mean, maybe next session or the session before, after, because we have like a related assignment today, a related assignment to the work that you did yesterday. Okay.
Madam.
Okay, madam.
Madam, it can't open.
Comment?
The book you sent, it can't open. It says Teams cannot open this file due to unsupported file type.
Okay. Well, I'll check after this session. I'll check it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Pour moi, ça marche très bien. Merci.
C'est pour Bouchra?
Pour Nora.
Pour Nora.
Oui,
ça marche très bien.
Why?
Si ça marche, if it works for Nora, Omar, you should it should work
No,
for
these,
you.
like the other ones, they open with PDF.
Yeah.
All the other files that you send, they open with PDF. That
In
one
PDF,
doesn't
but
open.
this one is in EPUB format.
Okay, maybe I need to download the thing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Ça marche pour moi aussi.
Perfect.
Okay.
Alors, bonne lecture.
Merci, madame.
Well, yesterday we saw that for establishing a communication strategy, we should first make clear our purpose, analyze our audiences, and consider our context. Remember, guys. Well, after establishing, after making clear this purpose, after analyzing this audience and choosing our audience, I mean targeting our segments, after considering the context, we should try what type of communication support we will adopt. Okay, and today we will see formal reports as one type of leadership communication, but also some correspondence like email, like blogs, like and there are many. I mean, there are many correspondence like email, blogs, tweets, letter. But today we will see, let's say, the most popular. Okay, so let's go back to our figure. Remember, as I said, a communication strategy starts by making clear this purpose, analyzing the audience, and then choosing how the best to accomplish this purpose. So according to the audience, yeah, we will choose that that kind of writing communication. Writing communication could be an option, just like oral communication, and I believe that through this assignment you saw many speeches, many strong oral communication. So a leader who has the ability to share knowledge and ideas to create a sense of urgency in the people they work with. Professionally, writing communications falls into one of two broad types. I mean, correspondence, as I said, like emails, like blog posts, like memos, like text messages, like tweets, okay, and social media. And then we have reports, like formal reports, including proposals, progress reviews, performance reports, research documentation, marketing and sales documents, etc. So achieving the most effective communication medium, a leader must know the purpose of the message by creating individual and team writing communication, organizing the content coherently, conforming to content and formatting expectation in correspondence, including expected content in reports, and formatting writing communication effectively. There is different type of reports, and their content differs depending on the purpose. Some have the objective of informing about the situation of sales, for example, other about the financial situation of the company, about the operational, about production situation. Therefore, it shares many informations like statistics, like indicators, analysis of forecasts, etc. Other reports have as objective, have as purpose to instruct, as for example, by explaining internal rule, policies, and therefore they can contain rules, safety measures, guidelines, etc. Will other reports have as objective, for example, to persuade, such as a financial report, which sometimes have as purpose to reassure investors about the health of company, reports about the business climate, for example, as I said, to drain investors, Leaders in organizations write reports that inform, instruct, and persuade. The reports may be long, short, formal, informal. They may tell a story, for instance. The report may first include an overview of the current situation, then discuss the details that have complicated the situation, and finally suggest a resolution or recommendation to improve the situation. Although many reports serve multiple multiple objectives, such as informing, as I said, persuading, engaging, they all must respect certain forms and adopt certain rules. Well, all formal report should contain, for example, a letter, a memo, or a preface. And it is a it sets the stage for the reports and is usually addressed to decision maker. It should identify the purpose of the attached report. Secondly, a formal report should contain a cover, and the cover contains a title that captures the so what of the report. Usually contains the sender's name and the receiver's as well as the date. Third, the report should contain the title of the page, and the tag contains the same information as the cover. The title of the page contains the same information as the cover, but in some disciplines, it may also contain a descriptive abstract of the report contents. Une table de matière, a table of contents, lists all important sections of the report, and it usually lists the main, hidden, and second level subhidden from the discussion section. I mean, it is different from the executive summary. La table de matière est différente du sommaire puisque la table de matière contient moins de détails, less detail than the executive summary. The executive summary provides context for the report, including any information the reader needs to understand. It may also contain conclusion and recommendation. Then we have the body, the discussions, that which differs from report to report. And we just saw different kinds of reports, different types of reports. And generally, what is common between those reports in this discussion body is that it contains the developed content or argument organized logically. Then we have a closing or conclusions. Well, the conclusions and the recommendations may be placed in these sections. Okay, if the report is direct, this section will usually be a short closing. Then, if applicable, we have next step. Well, we should put the outlines, actions expected of the readers. I mean, things like future suggestion, research story suggestion. And then we have the appendix. The appendix est un peu l'annexe. The appendix contains any data or other support for your report that is too detailed for discussion section. It may also contain, let's say, it may also contain clarification, graphs, diagrams not needed in the body of the document, and des documents, des data que vous n'avez pas besoin de mettre dans le body discussion, dans le corps de rapport, vous pouvez la mettre au niveau de l'annexe. And then we have bibliography, la bibliographie, and ça consiste en des références, des sources, such as interviews, articles, scientific articles, that the writer has used in preparation of the report. So as I said, professionally writing communication falls into two broad types. We have reports, but we also have, well, reports are various, diverse, but they all should, as I just explained, they all should respect some common rules and some common components. But we also have correspondence, and there are many types of correspondence. I selected two main interesting types, if not the most, let's say the most used in the world. Well, first we have blog, or let's say professional blogs. Some social media researchers say, for example, about the blog, that 3 million new blogs come online every month. The list of companies, blog posts, and websites devoted to providing advice on how to create a professional blog is extensive and change quickly. Yeah, but prenons quand même quelques principes globaux. D'accord? Like, for example, defining our purpose before beginning. I mean, we should answer the question why this blog should exist. To answer that question means we must know the audience we want to attract. Understand? In every kind of writing, in every kind of communication, writing or oral, we should always clarify the purpose, and we should identify the audience and analyze it. Okay? So to answer that question, answering that question means we must know the audience we want to attract, what goals we have for the blog, and what other bloggers are writing on our topic. Again, we need a strategy including a deep understanding of our audience. Also, using a title that attracts our audience. Second, we should be involved in the conversations. The opportunity to interact with the readers, with our readers, is one of the most important things which make blogging special in the first place. If you only post and never respond to your audience, you will lose the audience. Okay, blogs are designed to foster conversation, so let's make those conversations happen. Third advice is to give credits. One of the quickest ways to ruin your reputation as blogger is not to give credits to and link to others when you use their ideas. Not giving credits and properly linking can get your blog banned from some search engine. In addition, many professional bloggers have noted the value of linking to others as a means of building their own readership, and getting involved in the larger blog sphere. So the fourth advice is to make it different. Blogs can go wrong quickly when they are used as simply another marketing tool. So new media require new ways of doing business, and the real value of blogs and other social media in their ability to foster collaboration and create new channels for interacting with the key stakeholders openly and honestly. The fifth advice is to keep writing. Well, professionals, bloggers in many different fields want that quickest way to do a blog is to take a break and stop writing. As you define your purpose, put together a timeline that includes when you will post, when you will review and comment on responses, and when you will read orders. So once we have a strategic plan in place, we need to consider our strategic approach to language on our blog as well. Blogs are usually more casual in tone and style than other professional writing, but standard rules still be applied. We should be generally correct and positive in our language. Another type of leadership communication correspondence is email. So email is still the most frequently used medium for professional communication. In 2012, the number of business emails sent and received per day totaled 89 billion email. Although we still send and receive printed letters and memos, they are becoming rarer and are often transmitted as email attachments rather than as a hard copy. Well, to write an effective email, to write a professional email, we should respect some, let's say, some guidelines. Like, for example, creating a complete subject line. And the subject line needs to make it clear what the reader will get for opening and reading the email. It must capture the so what of the email. Then we should format the email for accessibility and easy reading. We should keep the paragraphs short and to the point. We should use font and design that is friendly across system and avoid table and order formatting that may not transfer as intended. We should, for example, be very careful in that reply all and copy all. Make sure you actually want everyone to see the email before you hit reply all. On the other hand, copy all who are involved in the conversation. When the topic shifts, change the subject line so that it captures the focus of new conversation. And generally avoid informal writing jargon and the use of contractions, abbreviations, and emoticons may have a place with friends, but usually not in the formal emails. So, as I said in the beginning, in this communication process, we should set that purpose, analyze this audience, consider the context, and then choose what kind of communication, what type of communication we will adopt. Well, will it be an oral communication or a written communication? Today we saw different type of communication, and those type of communication, are related to the purpose. If we want to inform, if we want to persuade, or if we want to engage, to instruct, okay? So according to the objective of our communication, the purpose of our communication, we will, let's say, create the content of this report. Well, we talk about policies, we talk about some internal rules, we talk about guidelines, for example, if we want to instruct our employees, if we want to instruct societies, I don't know, globally our audience. We talk about those financial reports, we talk about this production report, we talk about this that contains indicators, that contain statistics, etc. And we talk about this business climate, le climat des affaires, par exemple, report that can reassure and that can qui peut drainer des investisseurs, par exemple, that can motivate investors to come to, I don't know, to invest with your company, with your country, with your state, with your region, etc. So, but different reports, but common components, okay, common structure. There is some important components, important une structure commune, d'accord? Common structure between those different formal reports, and we saw those consonants. You know, le rapport doit contenir par exemple une préface, a cover letter that contain some important information, a table about the sender, about the title. We saw that nous avons parlé de table matière, de sommaire, de biographie, d'annexe, etc. So professional reports should contain this, let's say, well, those common professional structure. So we have those formal, let's say, formal reports, but we also have other correspondence, always according to your purpose and according to your audience. So if, for example, you went yesterday, we had this application and many of you targeted the youth as an interesting audience for this political communication campaign. So for example, if I want to write some correspondence, if I want to adopt a writing communication, it will be, for example, I will target them through blogs in, I don't know, in Instagram, for example, in Twitter, in Facebook. But this blog, on va pas improviser ici encore. There is some rules, there is some guidelines that we should respect, okay? For blogs, but also for emails. Et aujourd'hui, l'email a globalement, je vais dire, remplacé la lettre écrite. Okay? Mais là encore, au niveau de l'email, il y a des règles à respecter, il y a une structure à respecter, il y a des choses à ne pas négliger, d'accord? Surtout quand il s'agit d'une communication professionnelle, and also, well, in a leadership communication. Okay?
Yes, of course, miss.
Oui, madame, c'est clair.
Très bien. Donc,
Hello, professor. How are you?
sorry.
How are you, professor? Actually, I have a question.
Hi, Miss Steve Jobs. Well,
Okay.
I wasn't surprised when I have read your assignment.
Yeah,
You know, I
thanks.
was expecting Steve Jobs, and well, je n'ai trouvé que Steve Jobs. So.
Okay, that's good. So I have a question. When can we have the slides, professor?
Sorry?
When can we have the slides, please? I said.
The what?
The slides, the slides.
You mean
The slides.
presentation? The slides?
The slides.
When you can have what? Sorry, I can't.
Les supports de cours.
Courses, voilà, c'est course, voilà.
Yeah, the slides. You mean the slides? Okay, the slides. Well, you can find them in the file. You know the file course material.
Ici,
Yes.
Fichier, sur fichier. Il y a général, publication.
You didn't check yesterday for the. You didn't check yesterday?
No, I didn't see it.
No, il y a trois fichiers. There is 3 files: learning material, suggested readings, and another file about that digital marketing certification. And in the learning material, the file learning material, you will find all the course presentations of the les anciennes sessions.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Well, j'ai mis également le support de juste après la séance dernière, la séance d'hier, j'ai mis le support. Okay?
Yes, thank you, professor.
Thank you, Miss Steve Jobs. Très bien. Donc, nous passons aux présentations. c'est qui le groupe qui va passer? J'ai le groupe de Amné, je pense, et le groupe de Ibrahim. Et puis, j'ai le groupe de Marie.
Oui, madame.
Amné, vous
Madame,
passez.
j'ai une remarque. Avant de passer à la présentation, j'ai une remarque.
Bien sûr,
Dans
Amné,
les mails, dans les campagnes, les mails, on peut pas se cibler les organisations. Il y a un article dans la loi qui interdit ça. Donc, il y a des limites quand on parle de l'email.
est-ce que c'est-à-dire l'usage illégal de certaines...
L'usage est illégal. Par exemple, on ne peut pas se cibler si on veut vendre quelque chose aux étudiants ou bien aux professeurs de l'UR. On ne peut pas se cibler leurs emails de l'UR.
C'est une loi régie par, enfin, c'est une loi qui est régie également par la législation marocaine aujourd'hui, c'est l'ANRT qui encadre ça et on ne peut pas utiliser vos emails personnels pour des opérations de vente, mais
non, des emails professionnels.
Des emails professionnels.
Oui, on ne peut pas.
C'est-à-dire, tu parles des emails qu'on envoie en masse dans des opérations publicitaires, des opérations de marketing ou même des opérations de communication politique, c'est ça?
Non,
mais effectivement, je suis d'accord avec toi qu'il y a une règle qui interdit ça, mais n'empêche que demain, si je souhaite envoyer, je veux dire que le mail reste un outil de correspondance très utilisé, comme je viens de citer en 2012.
Madame, je crois qu'il veut dire que les campagnes publicitaires ne peuvent pas envoyer des emails de marketing sur des emails professionnels comme @ur.acep.ma.
Absolument, c'est interdit par la loi. C'est interdit par la loi. Mais Chirel, les emails professionnels, même vos emails personnels, on ne peut pas les utiliser dans des campagnes publicitaires ou des campagnes, globalement, je ne sais pas, des campagnes de communication de masse. Si vous pouvez poursuivre, je ne sais pas, n'importe quelle organisation qui use de votre adresse mail sans votre autorisation. D'où l'importance de l'inbound marketing. D'accord? L'inbound marketing, d'accord, vous permet de constituer une masse de bases de données, mais avec la permission de ces usagers. Par exemple, lorsque vous consultez une plateforme, je ne sais pas, un blog, et qu'on vous demande par exemple vos adresses mail et vos coordonnées, mais avec votre autorisation, d'accord, et en contrepartie, on vous offre, je ne sais pas, un catalogue, un ouvrage à télécharger. Et donc, vous accordez à l'institution ou l'entreprise en question la possibilité de vous inclure dans des campagnes publicitaires, dans, je ne sais pas, dans des campagnes de communication globale, d'accord, mais avec votre total consentement. En contrepartie, on vous offre des choses et parfois, avant d'utiliser, je ne sais pas, une application, avant de naviguer au niveau d'un site web, etc., vous autorisez, vous vous inscrivez dans cette newsletter et vous donnez des permissions à ces organisations-là de vous envoyer ce genre de mail. Et voilà, c'est dans le cadre de en présence de ce blocage législatif, ces lois qui interdisent d'user de vos adresses personnelles ou professionnelles, etc. L'inbound marketing se propose ou se présente comme alternative très intéressante pour constituer de grandes bases de données avec l'autorisation, avec l'acceptation des personnes, d'accord, sans nuire, en respectant la loi, d'accord, en ayant le consentement de ces personnes et en réalisant vos campagnes campagne, je ne sais pas, de professionnel, marketing, communication, etc. D'accord? Avec une grande base de données. Voilà. Très bien. D'autres questions, les amis?
Non, madame.
Non, madame, pas pour l'instant.
Non,
Je pense qu'on débutera les présentations.
Oui, on débutera la présentation. D'accord.
Madame, c'est Nabil qui va orchestrer la présentation.
Très bien, Nabil.
Merci.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for this rich presentation. Préférais que vous ayez également introduit un example. But it's okay. Let's remind, remember guys, the video we watched the first session about this historical speech, I Have a Dream, about Martin Luther King, presented by Martin Luther King in that difficult context.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes.
and the speech was about fighting for human rights, fighting against oppression, for equality, etc. Remember that the words of the speech was very strong. The purpose was very strong. L'audience était très nombreuse. Remember how many person was present in this situation. I guess we talk about more than 200,000 person present in that event. Well,
yes, ma'am, but we are talking about non-verbal communication.
Yeah, I'm following.
Which is the physical part of
exactly
how he talks, not what's he talking about. That's
yeah.
That's what we understood from the presentation.
Je vais continuer, Nabil. Je vais continuer. Tu vas comprendre ce que je suis en train de dire. So the purpose was strong. The speech, the objective was strong. The situation was big. But remember that the faces, the attitudes of Luther King, the nonverbal communication used in that speech was also very strong. Remember, Nabil? Remember, guys? Remember how... Yeah, remember that Luther King seems upset in that speech? And that he was using like very strong gestures?
Yes, he was looking passionate about what he was saying.
Yeah, that's the idea.
What captured the cloud. Yes.
So that's the idea. That
I agree with you. Yes.
Yeah. So the speech, the words used in the speech could be very impacting, very strong. The situation, the events, the logistic, etc. But these gestures, this nonverbal, these faces, these attitudes used in this situation have the same impact and the same importance for attaining the purpose behind this leadership communication, right, guys? Do you agree with me?
Oui, madame.
Yes.
Oui, madame, oui.
Très bien. So your presentation was very rich, but I need to ask you a question. What did you globally retain from your research? Qu'est-ce que vous avez globalement retenu?
We retained that non-verbal communication, that fidgeting and making nervous actions can affect the communication and can lead to negative results.
So you say, Nabil, that non-verbal communication can impact positively, but also negatively the communication process?
Yes, for beginners, of course. That don't.
Okay, give me some, Nabil, or your other colleagues. Give me some example of, let's say, examples of negative gestures, negative nonverbal communication that can impact this communication process.
Like Yunus said, making fidgeting acts with your finger, or putting your fingers in your hands. I mean, in your pockets or behind your back, can can be seen as very negative in Western countries, I think.
Well, tell me something. Is those negative gestures, those negative nonverbal communication have the same impact in all the situations?
There is a study that shows that 70% of communication is nonverbal. The other 30% is verbal, meaning that it can count more than the verbal, than what you can say.
Yeah, I agree
like
with you.
The end of the presentation says that that's what you do says more than what you can say, which translates to what you think it's an answer to what you said.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you, and I'm expressing it by my face and by my gestures, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, sometimes we can express our opinion just with our face, and we show the happiness. We can show that we are upset. We can show that we agree. We can show through this nonverbal in those basic situations. And yes, the nonverbal. Let's say that those nonverbal gestures or this nonverbal communications can have like strong impact, especially, and we will see that I guess in another presentations, but also in another part of our course, especially in some intercultural situation, cultural differences, especially when we are when we talk about this negotiation situation, when the negotiation situations or when the communication situation happened between two sides from different let's say from different culture. Well, this is why I asked you, Nabil, and your colleague, have the nonverbal gestures, have the nonverbal communication the same meaning in every situation? Because, for example, does the smile, for example, have the same meaning, have the same impact in all the situations? Sometimes the smile can have a positive impact. Sometimes the smile can have a different impact according to the cultural situation.
I think yes, it depends on the culture. I think it depends on cultures and how people perceive these actions that you do.
Okay, so Amine, Ibrahim, Younes, what did you think? Qu'est-ce que vous avez retenu d'après ce travail que vous avez réalisé?
Madame, pour moi, j'ai retenu que notre voix et nos mouvements doivent être cohérents pour que nous puissions être plus convaincants et séduisants. tant que les haters ou bien ça dépend de l'objectif. Si on veut être alpha ou bien sigma ou bien donc c'est une stratégie, un objectif. On peut dire c'est un processus de communication, c'est tout, non?
Très bien. Alors, Ibrahim, quelles étaient vos références sur les références bibliographiques sur lesquelles vous avez travaillé au niveau de cet exposé? Ibrahim, Younes?
J'ai pris un petit peu de ce que vous m'avez donné, madame, et j'ai pris quelques sources sur Internet, sur Google. C'est tout.
Très bien.
Madame, pour moi, vous pouvez dire que j'ai pris le background d'un livre qui s'appelle L'art de la séduction de Robert Greene et la manipulation de la séduction, notre livre, et j'ai essayé de conclure les choses dans 3 phrases et comprendre comment ça se passe.
Très bien.
Before we end, does anyone have a question? Je pense que non, je pense qu'on a tout.
No, Nabil, it was perfect.
Thank you, Leila. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leila, for your
If
support.
anyone has a
It
question,
was
they can
very
either
clear.
write it.
Les gars, pour votre attention. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention.
Merci
Thank
beaucoup,
you
les
very
gars.
much for everyone.
Merci à vous.
Merci les amis. So let's move on to the second presentation. Marie and Dunia.
Hi, madam.
I really appreciate the effort that you did with your English. Will present in this they will do in this presentation. I can feel the effort. I can see the effort. I want to congratulate you for that, Marie, especially, and but also Dunia. But I appreciate also the fact that you have choose let me say a case study that you live in, so that you didn't forget to apply and to relate your presentation to this big crisis, this big health crisis that we are living. But let me ask you a question, girls. Well, since the case study that you have presented is kind of très général, voilà, très global. What if I ask you, what if you were Dunia and Marie? What if you were in charge of communication? What if you are the communication manager, communication responsible in a region, in I don't know, a state, and we ask you to establish a communication strategy, communication process for this health crisis situation? What will be the purpose of your communication? What will be the audience? What are going to be the audiences? What will be the context? Well, the context is clear. The context is a health crisis. What will be the audiences? What will be the purpose? And what communication medium will you choose? How will you communicate with those different audiences?
Madame, je vais essayer de comprendre.
De comprendre?
Oui, de comprendre pourquoi s'est déclenchée cette crise. Et le partager après avec les autres groupes, je ne sais pas, mes collègues ou mes co-workers, d'accord? Donc, je pense que la communication, c'est de la compréhension. Si on comprend l'un envers l'autre, ça va se faire. Donc, la communication, c'est la clé de la compréhension, je pense. Voilà. Si on comprend pourquoi la crise est là, on va comprendre comment le résoudre.
Mais là, on ne vous demande pas de résoudre une crise ou de donner des solutions à une crise, Dunia. Là, vous êtes juste en charge de la communication et on vous demande d'établir une stratégie de communication pour cette crise-là. La question est, quel serait l'objectif de vos différentes actions de communication? À quelle audience vous allez vous adresser? Et par quel biais, par quel outil de communication, quels outils de communication vous allez adopter dans cette situation de crise qui est, par exemple, cette crise, this health crisis situation?
Je peux répondre, madame?
Vas-y, Marie.
Donc, l'objectif de la communication sera d'abord d'informer la population sur l'ampleur de la crise, les dommages que la maladie ou que le problème peut engendrer. L'objectif aussi sera de communiquer sur les comportements à suivre, à adopter pendant la période de crise et surtout assurer la population en fait, genre de ne pas, faudrait pas qu'ils paniquent, il faudrait juste qu'ils observent les mesures de sécurité et tout, d'hygiène, afin de réduire les impacts, ce qui est fait en général. L'audience sera absolument tout le monde, parce qu'aujourd'hui, on voit qu'il y a des populations, des civils simples comme des politiciens ou des grands acteurs, les musiciens et tout, qui sont même impactés ou qui sont morts à cause du problème. Donc, l'audience, c'est absolument tout le monde. Tout le monde. Et les canaux de communication, on peut avoir des conférences de presse comme les conférences de presse par les politiciens. On a aussi les réseaux sociaux.
Les responsables gouvernementaux, tu veux dire?
Oui, les responsables gouvernementaux. On a aussi les réseaux sociaux à travers lesquels on communique sur la manière de se comporter, à travers lesquels on partage certains contenus pour faire comprendre le comportement à avoir. Donc, c'est un peu ça.
Très bien.
Je n'ai pas compris au début la question, pardon. Donc là, elle a tout cité, je pense. Oui, Marie, je pense qu'elle a tout cité.
Absolument. So, Dunya and Marie, what did you retain from this presentation, from this research? Qu'est-ce que vous avez retenu globalement de la recherche que vous avez effectuée? What characterized, what is the difference between communication, a normal communication strategy, and a crisis communication strategy? Qu'est-ce qui diffère une stratégie de communication normale d'une stratégie de communication en temps de crise? Qu'est-ce qui distingue la communication de crise? Voilà.
Madame, l'urgence.
Urgence.
Oui.
Oui, madame. L'urgence, la flexibilité. Genre, la communication en situation de crise doit en fait être flexible. Communication et action, madame. Donc, doit être flexible, urgente, parce qu'il y a la pression de la crise. Et je n'ai pas vraiment la réponse à cette question, mais ce que j'ai retenu de l'étude de cas, je peux dire au fait que la communication à chaque niveau de crise est à prendre au sérieux. Parce que si on reste toujours dans l'étude de cas, si dès le départ, dès la première étape, il y avait eu la communication avait été bien managée, on n'aurait pas eu cette ampleur de cas.
Absolument, les amis. L'urgence est un des caractères les plus importants qui caractérise la communication en urgence. Parfois, des stratégies de communication sont conçues, sont établies pour de longues périodes et durant de longues périodes. Par exemple, la SCP, c'est-à-dire la segmentation, ciblage, positionnement, prend beaucoup de temps pour analyser les audiences, analyser les segments, choisir le segment, etc. Établir le plan de communication, le concevoir, réaliser des études pour connaître les attentes et pour connaître the expectations of your segment. This can take time. So normal communication strategy can take time for their conceptions, to establish them. But what characterize, what the main je veux dire, characteristic of the crisis communication is l'urgence. C'est l'urgence. C'est l'urgence est le principal caractère qui distingue cette stratégie de communication de crise. Alors, merci. Alors, les amis, les autres collègues, est-ce que vous avez des questions pour Marie et Dunya?
Non, c'était clair, merci.
Non, ça va, très bon exposé.
Bravo. Très bien, les amis. Très bien. Merci, Dunya. Merci, Leïla. Pardon, merci, Dunya. Merci, Marie. Désolée.
Marie.
Donc,
Madame, pour le fichier Excel dont je vous avais parlé, pour les dates,
vous allez le trouver juste après la fin de cette séance, c'est-à-dire dans quelques minutes. Au niveau c'est-à-dire tous les documents relatifs à notre cours, vous les trouvez dans la partie.
course
Yeah, there's a file for that. Donc, tout ce que, c'est-à-dire les supports de cours, s'il y a d'autres, je vais dire, d'autres, je vais dire des bibliographies, d'autres références, je vais les mettre là-bas. Le fichier Excel, vous l'allez trouver juste après, en fin de séance, sur cette partie, avec les dates de passage de chaque groupe.
Parfait.
Et vous allez trouver également
beaucoup,
le travail à rendre. D'accord. Donc, le travail à rendre que nous allons voir aujourd'hui, que vous allez traiter, je ne sais pas, durant le reste de cette semaine, pardon, que vous allez m'envoyer before the second session, before the next session, I mean before Monday, is related to the assignment of yesterday. So yesterday, you analyzed the speeches of inspiring leaders, and I felt that those people really inspires you. I had many examples, starting from Roosevelt to Mussolini to je ne sais pas, to Emmanuel Macron, Vladimir Putin, Oprah Winfrey, what else? Joachim Phoenix, Thomas Sankara. Well, a lot of leaders. And I felt that you were really inspired by those. Ashraf Hadri, are we not going to discuss our assignment today? No, Ashraf. We will discuss them next, I guess. Well, because we need to synthesize them in a kind of a tableau that synthesize all the speeches you have analyzed. But as I said, the assignment of today is related to the assignment you did yesterday. So you should stay on those inspiring people that you have chosen and answer some questions. Okay. Well. A moment, please. So you will answer some questions like, what have you, let's say, what have you learned about leadership communication by profiling this person? Okay, what can we all learn about this person? What is this individual's professional persona? What kinds of ethos does he or she project? What does he or she look like? What makes him or her a good example of leadership communication? What role does communication play in his or her success? So what you should do, and what after answering those questions, is that you should write them in a report that respect, remember, the rules, the structures, the common structures of a formal report. We saw this, you have it on the material, learning material, and we saw it, we explained it tout à l'heure.
Yes.
You should write a report about this person respecting the structure. I mean la preface, I mean the cover, I mean the table of content, I mean the bibliography, etc. All the components that we have seen, you should respect them. You should put them on your report. Will answering those questions about this person you choose in the first assignment. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, madam. Yeah, thank you very much for the information.
Ok, madame, c'est bon.
Thank you, madam.
Très bien. Donc, see you next Monday.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you, miss. Au revoir, madame.
You're welcome, guys.
Merci, madame.
À la séance prochaine, madame.
À la
Merci.
semaine prochaine.
Salut.